So say goodnight to the bad guy.
You looking at the bad guy. This the last time that you ever see a bad guy like me. You don't have the guts to be who you wanna be.
What is up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Honor Among Thieves. Special host, as always, Nelson Rodriguez Jr., host, director, producer. You already know everything under the sun. Honor Among Thieves podcast. Today, I have a real special guest, Mr. Josh. What's going on?
What's going on, bro? What's going on,
AKA Hell On Rikers.
That's right. That's
a
right.
badass name.
Hell On Rikers. That's a fact.
That's a badass name.
Yeah, man.
So I checked you out on Ian's show. I hit him up. I asked him to connect us. You know, it was you have a pretty cool story. So definitely wanted to.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it, man. Thank you for having me, man.
Of course,
all the time.
Yeah, you gotta. We were joking. You know, he was like, "Oh yeah, I got people out of Miami." I was like, "Yeah, come check it out in Miami under different circumstances."
Yeah.
It's like 17 degrees out right now. This is wild.
Yeah. It's brick city out here, man. It's like, for real, I don't even like coming outside when it's cold like
wild.
this.
But
yeah.
Do you live around here, or you live it?
Nah, I live in the city still. You know,
Manhattan?
Still living in the city, Harlem.
Harlem.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Harlem's an interesting place. Has a lot of.
But I'm back and forth though from Harlem to the Bronx, so
okay.
It's like I'm in both, but yeah,
Okay.
Harlem though.
Okay. Have you been in Harlem your whole life?
Nah, I was in the Bronx. I lived in Queens and Far Rockaway for a while. Well, when I was like real young and stuff like that. That was like in the early 90s, like 91, 92. We moved from over there to the Bronx in like 95, I think, or 96. And yeah, we was living there. So I grew up in the Bronx. I grew up on Jackson Avenue in the Bronx. Shout out to Jackson. You know what I'm saying? You know, just growing up through poverty, it was real bad back then. The Bronx was like, everything was burnt down. It was, you know, it was still, like, I was able to experience that and see that as a kid growing up and stuff because, you know, it's not like how it is today, you know, buildings going up everywhere and stuff like that. They taking over.
My dad's a truck driver, so I came up to New York a lot as a kid. Especially the Bronx, because that's where he would get all his loads and stuff. He'd go to like Hunts Point and that kind of stuff.
Yeah, the back of Hunts Point. That's where all the trucks, and all the
so,
industries is and all of that.
That's one of the parts of New York I'm vaguely familiar with. You know, we used to go to all that area, Yankee Stadium, all that stuff.
Yeah, I never been to Yankee Stadium a day in my life.
Really?
And I'm from the Bronx. Yeah.
That's wild.
Yeah, and the crazy thing is, my father worked in there at a point too. Like, I had a part-time job in there at a point of my life when I was a little younger, when he was alive. And I never been there a day in my life. I don't really like baseball, you know, so I don't, you know, that's not my thing really.
Okay.
But yeah, so we
Where are your parents from?
My mom she was born in one of them South states, I think Louisiana or something like that, or something like that, and I guess her mom, my grandmother. I never met my grandfather from my mother's side. I don't know who he is, but I guess my grandmother, my mother's mother, she somehow made her way to New York, and yeah, with her and her kids and stuff. So my father is his side, like, of the family is from down south, but they lived in Brooklyn, like, you know. Most of them, not most of them, but, you know, a lot of them. I still have a lot of family members down south. Like, my father's side of the family is real big. Like, I don't even know most of them, like, you know. I talk about this all the time with my wife. Like, my great-grandparents was slaves. Like,
oh, wow.
Yeah, my great-grandfather, he was born in 1900. And his wife was born in 1901. And I always think about that as like, bro, the year before that was 1899. Like,
a whole another century.
yeah, it's like, that just blows my mind, like, you know? And he was like, I forget what they call it, like, is a word that they use, it's not jogging my memory right now, but he was a slave to a family, and they gave him the last name Dowd. Like, if you ask anybody or if you do the research on that name, that last name is a rare last name. Like, nobody has that last name. Like, it's probably like a couple of people, a few people, you know, that has that last name in this world. Like, because it goes back to all of that, like the history and all of that and stuff like that. So yeah, they was slaves and all of that, and they migrated, I guess, over here. Like, my grandmother, those were her parents. So my grandmother migrated over here with my father and stuff, whatever, and her kids.
My sister met my great-great-grandfather, and he was born in 1898.
Yeah, you see, that's crazy to really think about that. Like, how, like, I can't even imagine what was going on back then. Like, you know, so it's like he
was 104 when he met her.
That's a blessing.
In 2002, yeah, he died shortly after, but still.
Yeah, sorry to hear that. That's a blessing, though.
He lived a long life. Imagine, he was 104. He had his son, my great-grandfather, his granddaughter, my grandma, a bunch of his great-grandkids, all my dad's cousins, and then my sister, his great-great-granddaughter, all in the same room.
That's crazy.
We got a picture of it in my.
That's what's up. That's a blessing.
It's wild, yeah. So, and imagine, like, he saw the car get created, the airplane, television, radio, internet.
Yeah,
that's wild.
That's what I'm saying. It's that's crazy.
I
can't even think like how they was even living back then. Yeah. Like, you know, like it's just it blows my mind. So that's where my father was from. My father was from Brooklyn, and I guess him and my mom met or whatever, you know, however they met, and they didn't stay together long, whatever. They had my older sister, and then they had me. He was there for like a little bit, like probably as like a baby, you know, going through the baby stages and the toddler stages, and then after that, they went their separate ways. He was still in our lives and all of that, you know. We used to go see him in Brooklyn to, you know, spend the weekends and all of that over there. Yeah, so it was. I lived with my mother though, you know, so it was rough. It was 8 of us in the crib, you know. My mom had basically adopted my two older brothers from, I guess, like her friend from back then. Like, you know, they was real close. And instead of them going into the system and being separated, she took them in.
To adopt them.
Basically, yeah. So they was there before me and my sister. So that happened. Then my mom's sister was, you know, addicted to drugs and all. You know, back then, the 80s, early 90s, crack cocaine was heavy in the cities, you know, in the inner cities and stuff like that. It was heavy everywhere, but especially in the inner cities, you know. So a couple of my aunts was addicted to it, you know. My mom used it a few, you know, she used it often, not even a few. She used it often, but she was like one of them functional people, like, you know, she kept that business to herself and stuff like that. So my aunt was about to lose her 3 kids to the system because of that, smoking crack. So my mom took them 3 in. And they, you know, they was my cousins, but we grew up with them, calling them my brothers and sisters. So it was 8 of us. The 2 that my mom took, then me and my sister, and then the 3 cousins, you feel me? And then my mother had another son, my little brother. And yeah, it was 8 of us in a 4-bedroom apartment in the projects. And a lot of people, when I was speaking about this on Ian's show, they was like, oh, ain't no 4-bedroom apartments in the projects. I'm like, bro, there's no reason to lie about that. You know what I'm saying? Like, and if you ask around, people would tell you it's 4 bedrooms, it's even 5 bedrooms, like, you know, in certain buildings and certain developments in New York City. So, yeah.
It's not like people go in every single room and be like, there's no 4-bedroom.
Yeah, so it's like, you know.
Tripping.
So, yeah, you know, it was rough, like I said, single mother, living in a house with, you know, feeding eight kids, you know, trying to take care of 8 kids. Yeah.
And this is in the Bronx.
Yeah.
Okay.
Trying to, basically just survive, My mom was heavy in the streets, though, She was real heavy in the streets. Like I said on Ian's show, she was she was dealing with like people that was doing big things. Like back then in my time, we would call them big time drug dealers. This is the early '90s and stuff like that. And
guys who ran like the crack game, that kind of stuff. Okay.
Crack and the coke. So yeah, I was exposed to all of that early. Seeing it, even making runs and stuff like as a kid, like picking up shit, bringing shit back, going across the bridge to Harlem, pick up stuff, bring stuff back in the cab. And so my oldest brother, he passed away now, God bless his soul and shit.
Rest in peace.
He was a street nigga too. Obviously, he followed right into my mother's footsteps. He was doing the same thing, hustling, selling drugs. He went to jail, went to prison, did like 3 years, came home, started doing the same shit all over again. Nothing changes really. My other brother, the one under him, he ended up, he did a bid before. So I'm seeing all this as I'm growing up. I'm hearing about going to jail, Rikers Island and all of that, Spofford when it was open.
Are they're all older than you?
Yeah, well, just the two. My oldest sister, my sister, and then my two older brothers.
Okay.
So, yeah, I see them.
How old are they when they start getting in trouble?
My oldest brother, he went to Rikers Island, I think, like in 2002 or 2001 or something like that. So he was probably like 18 or something like that, 19.
And you're how old are you? A teenager?
I think I'm probably like 13 or something like that. Yeah, 2001. Can't do the math real quick. I'm high as hell right now. I ain't gonna lie. But yeah, so yeah, I was young still, like he came home in like 2004. So I wasn't even 13 because in 2004 I was, I think, 13 or 14. I think I was just starting high school or something like that. Yeah, 2004 I just started freshman year high school or whatever. So he came home 2004. Like I said, back to the same thing, streets. My other brother under him, he got locked up. He did like a little 8 months on Rikers Island or 6 months and 5 years probation, something like that. The whole time all this is going on, though, I'm in the streets, like, I'm running around with negative people making bad decisions, peer pressure, stuff like that. Sometimes not even peer pressure, just trying to be down. Like that's what it really mainly be. Like even nowadays, like with the youth. For me,
trying to fit in.
Yeah, for me, I was just trying to fit in and be down, like joining gangs, those stupid street cliques, and causing terror and mayhem and doing stuff that didn't make sense at all. So I started getting in trouble myself, like I think the first time I got locked up, I was selling crack. And I just had got the shit from my man, went on the street corner where I normally go to make my sales because it was like an everyday thing, like, And this was like in 2004, I think, or 3, something like that.
What made you want to get involved? Was it kind of like seeing your brothers get money? Was it more your friends, like on the street? What made you make that decision? For
me, it was like seeing my brothers and stuff, like, and not just only them, just seeing like the people that was older than me in the neighborhood doing it. Everybody was doing it, like as soon as you step out the building, like, you could walk, as soon as you step out your apartment door or whatever floor you live on, and you got to hit that corner to go to the elevator. You see somebody making a sale right there, you know what I'm saying? And just seeing it, you like, money, you see the little jewels and all that, the nice clothes, the females, the cars.
Right.
So it was all of that. My brother, plus what I was already seeing, like, So that's what made me get into that, and I started doing that, and I got locked up shortly, real fast. Like
as a kid?
Yeah, I was 14, I think. 14 or 13 when I got locked up. That was the first time I ever got locked up for selling drugs. Okay. Or ever, period. And I was like, oh shit. Like it was like I went to Spofford and all of that. I think they ended up throwing the case away, or either that or releasing me to my mom's. Like after I was in there for like a week, though, I stood in Spofford for like a week, and then I went back to court, and I think they just released me to my mother or something like that. I was young, I don't know nothing about what's going on. You know, I'm just showing up, trying to go home. That's it. So I was out of that little jam. I think shortly after that.
Do you have any family members that are kind of like aware of the situation and maybe trying to get in your ear to tell you to do something different or no?
I always had that, like, from my mother. Like, she never wanted none of her kids to do what she was doing. And she always told us, like, you know, like, she always warned us about the streets because, you know, all my uncles, you know, was in the streets too. So she always was on top of us about that. Like, but it's just like, it's either you gonna listen or you're not gonna listen,
Right,
or you're gonna do what you want to do. Like your parents could tell you over and over to do something right, and if you're not seeing the right in what they telling you, you're gonna do what you want to do, whether it's bad or good, you know. And whatever outcome that comes with it, you just roll with the punches, you know.
Right.
So that's how it was, and she always used to tell us, like, yo, if y'all go to jail, I'm not coming to see y'all. Like, I'm not doing what my mother had to do for my brothers and shit, having to go see them, you know, locked up and putting her through stress and all of that. She always told us that. And anytime we got locked up, she never came. Like, she never came. She matter of fact, she came one time for me, I think, when I was on Rikers Island. And that was only because they was having, like, some family shit event for the adolescents, like, you know? Right. And she came with my girl, my wife. You know what I'm saying? So that was it. But other than that, she never came. You know, she always put money through, you know, commissary and shit like that or whatever. But she never came because she told us, she wanted us, like, that's not the life you want to live. Like, it's only two end results, like death or jail, like, you know? So, yeah.
You know what? I see a lot of similarities, like, with the whole 50 Cent story with his mom, like how she was a crack dealer and like all that. Was that a common occurrence in New York, like in the 80s and 90s? There was a lot of kids that just got involved in that because they saw their parents in the drug game and they started doing the same thing?
Yeah, it was probably like a combination of that and the fact that they was already being exposed to it. Like I said, once you walk out your door, you could walk into a hand-to-hand cell just trying to get to the elevator. You know what I'm saying? Or if you take the steps, you could see crackheads linked over or lighting a pipe, and you know. So it's like you seeing all that as a kid or as a teenager, you get fascinated with it. You know what I'm saying? Because it's fast money, easy, fast money, like literally, like, you know what I'm saying? And so, yeah, it's a combination of both, you know? And a lot of parents back then was in the streets. Like, all the old heads now that's older, they was in the streets because it was crazy back then. The 80s and the 90s with the crack. When crack first hit, it was crazy. It was so much money out there. Anybody probably could have been making money out there, you know? So, yeah, I believe it's a combination of both.
So in that first case you catch, you were selling crack for somebody? Like,
yeah, I was taking packs. I was like 14, 13. Okay. So yeah, I ain't have nobody, no connections, no none of that. So I just, some older dude came to me one day, like, yo, you want to get money? I'm like, hell yeah. He was like, all right, all you gotta do is just sell these. They was nicks at the time. People were selling nicks. Little ass bags, like, you know. So I'm like, all right, I could stash that anywhere, like, you know. So, yeah, I was taking packs from some older dude, and, yeah, I started just to move up, doing other stuff, and getting in more trouble.
All right, so that case gets thrown out. They turn you back into your mom, right? Yeah. What's kind of the conversation with your mom? Kind of more the same, like, yo, I'm not going to go see you, stop doing this?
Yeah, I think I actually got a whooping. Yeah. Yeah. Because my mom, she was real strict and mean. And me and my sister always had this conversation. My sister always be like, I think she was like that because it was a lot of us in the house. Like, it was 8 of us. Like, she was real, like, when I say real strict, she was real strict. Like, no going outside on school days. No going outside. Sunday through Thursday, no going outside. While everybody outside in the hood, you looking out the window, hearing everybody, you know, none of that. Cleaning up the house on the weekend, all type of crazy stuff, like on some military shit. Like, it was crazy, like, you know. But
I think that was her way of trying to protect you guys.
Yeah, so when I came out, I think I got a whooping. And, of course, she called my father because my father, he was a cop and stuff, you know, for a little period of time. And she was, I guess, try to send me over there to live with him in Brooklyn and all that. And I was, you know, started crying and stuff. Like, nah, I didn't want to go. Like, because I was scared of him when I was little, you know, younger. You know, all I used to see him was in a uniform. And back then, I was scared of police, you know what I'm saying? Just seeing the uniform, they didn't even have to do nothing. When I was younger, I just, you know, just from seeing stuff on TV and, you know, being afraid to get arrested and stuff like that, I was scared of him. So I ended up not going. She, you know, I convinced her to let me stay, so I stayed. After I got locked up for that, I started robbing. I ain't gonna fuck with this crack stuff no more because, you know, it's just, at that time, I'm like, I didn't, it wasn't worth it to me. Like, you know, I got to give somebody else back money. I'm only getting a certain amount of money, and I got to give back this to this, you know? So I'm like, it ain't worth it. So I started robbing and stuff.
That must have been crazy, like, having, getting in trouble and, like, having a dad as a cop. That's a weird dynamic. Like,
yeah.
You know, one extreme, you have your mom who's kind of like in that life in the street, but then your father's a cop. That's yeah,
wild. But you know, you gotta understand too. Like I said, this back in the '90s, so even cops was dirty back then. Like, you feel me? My mother knew a lot of cops in the Bronx back then. Like, she had some of them under the wing back then. You know, like that's why I said I seen all type of shit, bro. Like from cops, everybody, bro. It was like, you know, that's why, like I said,
you saw your mother deal with cops?
Yeah, yes, plenty of times. Like, I would I would be in my crib, sleep sometimes, bro, like in the living room on the couch, and all you hear is like loud knocking on the door. And, you know, all the lights is off. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning.
Right.
Like, and the door open, they come in, one of them's flashing their light, so they, you know, walk through the house. My mom greets them at the door. They come in. She goes into the room, grabs something, come back out, give it to them. They exchange whatever. They exchange money, whatever, and they leave, bro. And I'm watching all this from literally under the covers, like, and I'm like, what the fuck? In my mind, like, what? Like, and then later on down the line, she, like, when we started getting older, she started telling us little stuff here and there, like, you know, about certain cops or whatever.
Right.
So, yeah, I was at a point one time, like, anytime I got locked up, I would mention a certain cop name to try to get off, like, you feel me? But it didn't really work like that, like, you know? But, yeah, so
that's wild.
I was scared to go to my pops, man, because that uniform, man. He wasn't mean, but he could be mean. Like, not mean, but I guess you could call it disciplining.
Right.
He could be, like, real tough, you know? So, yeah, it was crazy. So
your life might have turned out different though if you ended up going with him.
Most definitely it would have.
Was he like, could you tell that he cared about you? Like, he gave a fuck about you? Like, he wanted to be in your life? He cared about what happened to you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hell yeah.
Okay.
He was always there. Like, it's just that whatever happened between him and my mom, they went their own way. It didn't work out, Yeah, but he was always there for me and my sister, like, always, you know, always taking us, like, not taking us, but, you know, coming to get us, you know, basically relieve that stress off of my mom's, you know, off her shoulders, dealing with another, 6 kids or whatever, you know, so, yeah, we were always going road trips. We would go to a lot of family reunions down south, Virginia, I think Rocky Mountains. Yeah, that family on that side of my father's side is just huge. Like, it goes back generations of old people, like, really. And, yeah, so he was there. He definitely was there. I give him that.
Okay. All right, so instead of kind of... It did scare you from the dealing crack and stuff, but then you ended up transitioning into another way of getting money on the street. So you started, was it armed robbery?
Yeah. Well, not all the time, sometimes. Sometimes it was just strong arm robbery. And it was just to get something quick, just to flip and get off. Like, you know what I'm saying? At 14 years old, $400, $450 back then was a lot of money for a 14-year-old, you know? So, yeah. I was doing robberies, a little stick
Mainly,
up here
like,
and there.
Like drug dealers?
Nah, I never robbed no drug dealers, like, you know, because I always felt like that was a risk. You know what I'm saying? They might have a gun when I might not have a gun or any type of weapon to protect myself, you know? So I ain't really robbed no drug dealers. Honestly, I was just robbing regular people, bro. Regular people. And, you know, it's sad, you know, it's nothing to glorify, you know, because I regret doing all that shit, hurting my own type of people, you know what I'm saying? And putting them through shit like that. But yeah, I was just a kid lost in the streets trying to get some easy, quick, fast money. So I started robbing and, you know what I'm saying, stealing and stupid shit like that. And
like purses, watches, that kind of stuff?
Yeah, all type of shit. And it was a trend actually in my neighborhood. Like, you know, like at one point it was a trend of people snatching people chains or people pulling out guns on people with big chains. You know what I'm saying? So they obviously you're gonna give it up. Even if it got real down, you giving it up or you're gonna die. Once somebody gonna kill you right then and there. You know, so that was a trend for a few years in my hood. A couple people actually lost their lives, you know, like for that. And yeah, I was doing that. Gold chains. You could sell gold fast anywhere, you know, so you get rid of it fast. And I was getting a little bit of money. Then I started going to high school, 2004, September.
So you started doing this like right before high school? You weren't even like
I was fresh out of junior high school. Okay. Like I just graduated junior high school in the summer, you feel me, of 04, and I'm just waiting for the new school year to start.
Right.
So I go to high school, Stevenson High School in the Bronx, and even there, you know, there's a lot of influence. You see the fortunate and you see the unfortunate kids, you know, and a lot of the fortunate kids was in the streets selling with drugs or whatever. Like so they was, you know, they didn't really come from money. Not all of them, probably like less than a handful, but. You had the other ones that they was already selling weed. You know what I'm saying? Weed was big back then, especially in high school. Everybody smoked weed. So, you know, I'm seeing all this. I'm seeing people with jewels. So one day, I'm in the steps. Well, in between that, I'm going to classes, and I'm just paying attention and scoping everybody out, seeing what anybody got that I could book them for, rob them for. Right. So I see this Dominican kid, and he got on a nice chain. It's thick. It ain't one of them skinny little ones. It's thick. That's 1,000 or better. In my mind, I already know that. You know what I'm saying? So
it's like a Cuban link chain?
Yeah. But not the one with the crab lock though. You know how I got the crab lock? It was thick. It wasn't a Cuban actually. It was just one of them thick gold chains that had the regular lock on it. So I already seen him. I started plotting on him like how I'm gonna get this, you know. So I befriended him or whatever. And then one day we just happened to be in the steps one day, I guess, cutting class or transferring classes or whatever. And I just pinned him up on the wall and I'm like, yo, let me get that, bro. And I took it. And I'm telling him though, like, yo, I'm just weird for a couple hours. I'm gonna give it back to you at the end of the school day or something like that. But I wasn't. I took it. I left school early that day. And I went and sold that shit right there. I pawned it. I already had my go-to man that bought all the gold, you know what I'm saying? Went to him and pawned it. So I think the next day or the day after, I went back to school and I left my ID and my, I forgot what they call it, but it's a paper they used to give you back then with your schedule on it, and it had all your classes.
Oh, yeah.
And that's how you get into school. You got to swipe your ID and show that paper. So I left those in my crib, rushing out the house, and something told me to turn back because you had to go through metal detectors and stuff back then. And something told me, yo, like turn around and go back home. But I didn't listen to my gut, you know, and I ended up going through the mag. And when matter of fact, did I have my ID? I don't know, because I don't even know how they even knew my name. So I must have had my ID. I probably just didn't have, it was my program card. That's what they call it, the program card. So I guess when I swiped, they seen my picture on the thing and my name or whatever. And all I heard on the security school safety radios was, oh, they said my name. Oh, such and such is in the building. Do not let him leave. I repeat, do not let him leave.
Oh, so they were already looking for you for the robbery.
Yeah.
Okay.
The kid, he told on me or whatever. So as soon as I get through the metal detector, they grab me up, throw me in this room right there. Everybody looking, trying to see what's going on. I'm in there. They close the door. They just got me. I think they got me handcuffed. Then they take me to the main office and have me sitting there. Police come in. I'm like, oh, man. End up locking me up. Take me to the precinct, to the 43rd precinct in the Bronx. Excuse me. And they questioned me and all that. I'm telling, I don't know what you're talking about. I end up going to Spofford again. And, excuse me, from there, I did a bid for that, 15 months, juvenile.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, obviously, this is very different from the first time you get caught up. First time kind of just gets swept under the rug, but this one sticks. Obviously, it's a different experience. Different things happen. What's the official charge they gave you?
Robbery with a dangerous instrument or something like that. Even though I didn't have no weapon or nothing, they still put that.
Okay. All right. So they sent you over to Spofford. Tell me what it's like. Like, what are you feeling going in as they're transferring you? Like, we bring you in and all that.
Honestly, I was scared. I've already been to Spofford. I remember that the first one I was there for a week, so I already knew what it was like.
Right, but this time you're going in knowing you're gonna do 15 months.
Yeah.
Right?
So I'm in there. I'm in Spofford, and at the time when you first go in, you don't know what you're doing yet.
Right.
Because you got to go to court, back and forth to court. So I'm in there. I go to court a couple times, I think a few times. I'm in there. It's regular though, After I got in there, it's just like you just adapt to it, like I ain't get into no trouble, no fights or nothing like that. I was just smooth sailing in there. Then from there, I think they sent me to Horizon on 3rd Avenue in the Bronx. It's another Spofford, but that opened I think like in the early 2000s they opened it. So they sent me there. That's right down the block from my hood, literally. If somebody want to come visit me, they could walk right there and come see me. That's how close it is to my projects. So they sent me there, I believe, and then from there I went to court, and then from court they sent me to a non-secure detention, which is, they call it NSD, which is you live in a house, a 3-story house. There's staff there, that wear regular clothes. They like COs, but they call them staff, and they wear their regular clothes.
Kind of like a halfway house?
Yeah, something like that. But you there with like 11, 12 other teenagers your age or whatever that's locked up. So, we in there, we living. I'm chilling, honestly, because I'm in the house, We eating real food, We got our own chef that cook, that's paid by the state or juveniles to cook. We eating real food. My mom came to see me one time in there because I had to give her money. I got locked up with money. I swear to God, I got locked up with work, from selling weed. I was selling weed at the time, so I had a bunch, not even a bunch of money, probably like 5 something in my North Face right here. And there was a hole in the bottom of the pocket, so it was inside. So she came to see me. I gave her that money. That was it. She was like, you about to, do some time, whatever the case may be. So.
You did the majority of your bid in that non-secure detention?
Nah, I went.
That was like the latter.
Yeah,
half?
that was like right before I went upstate. So from once you get sentenced juvenile, back then, you go, being that I was in a non-secure detention. I got sentenced. Once I got sentenced, I got shipped to some place called Pyramids. That's like a holding spot before you go upstate to the juvenile facilities. Okay. And that was on 3rd. I think they closed it now, but that was on 3rd Avenue too, but in the back towards like Park Ave or something like that. And I was there for like 2 weeks, I think, or a week. And, you locked down all day. They might let you out to do rec and shit like that. And then
like a 23-1?
Yeah, something like that. And then I went upstate to juvenile.
Okay. And they sentenced you to 15 months, right?
18 months.
18 months, okay. All right. So you get sent upstate. Kind of like the fun is over.
Yeah.
You know your mom's not coming to see you. So, is there at any point when you're getting upstate that you kind of have second thoughts about the life you're living, or man, maybe I should do something different when I get out, anything like that? Or are you kind of like, whatever, I'm going to take this bid to the face, and then when I hit the street, it is what it is?
In the beginning, it's like, for me, it was like, honestly, I don't even remember even really having no feelings like when you first get there, like, you know, because you still, at least for me, I'm still in a bit of a shock. Like,
Right.
I'm in this facility. Mind you, the facility I went to was only a 24-man facility. Okay. It wasn't like one of them big facilities. Yeah, it was called, it's some facility called Taybert Residential Center. It's like 5 hours from New York City.
Okay. So
I went there, and it's Unit 12 and Unit 13. 13 on Unit 13, 12 on Unit 12, you know? And it's just two sides. And it's a big facility, though. Like, so I'm there, and it's real structure there. Like, they don't play up there. Like, you get rug burns, you know? They got rugs like this all everywhere throughout the whole facility inside. And you get restrained, they'll rug burn your face, your arms, your body, everything. Like, you'll see people with half their face rug burn, a part of their face rug burn from getting restrained, fighting. Like, yo, and I'm like, I don't never want to go through that, you know? Yeah. So I just fell in line. Like, I'm trying to go home. Like, I'm not worrying about or even thinking about, like, really trying to change nothing. Like, they try to get you to do that, you know, with school. And if you end up getting a GED there, you know, they try to help you set up with college and all that. So once you get out of there, you could go straight into college, you know, if you able to do it that way. And for me, I wasn't able to do it that way. So I was just trying to hurry up and get out. And yeah, I was just going with the motions in there. Like, you know, that shit is kiddie camp to me. Like, you know, ain't nothing going on here. You know, nobody getting stabbed. It's no fighting really. I got into one fight. Like, I ain't even really get into one fight. Some dude snuck me while we was in the classroom. He snuck me from behind. They grabbed him, beat him up, restrained him right there, all type of rug burns, because, you know, they don't play that up there. So, yeah, other than that, I just went through there smooth sailing. I probably got in trouble. You know, you get certain privileges in there, and if you do something wrong or whatever they don't like, they take those privileges. Other than that, it's nothing. You know what I'm saying? It's just you doing your little bit and going on until you get out.
All right. And this is, how old are you towards the end of this bid? And you do the full 18 months?
Nah, I did 15.
15, okay.
Yeah, so...
how old are you when you get out?
I was 16.
16.
Wait. Yeah, I was 16.
Okay.
I got out. So I was locked up the whole 05. And I got out April 06. Yeah.
April 06. Okay. So you go back home to your mom's house?
Nah, I'll get out and I go to Brooklyn to my father's house.
To your father's house. Okay.
Yeah. For whatever reason, I don't know why. I think it was my mother. She was like, all right, that's it. You're going to live with him and this, that, and the third. So when I got out, I paroled to him, to his crib in East New York.
Okay.
I was living there, but I was only sleeping there. Like, I didn't have no friends really over there. You were on the street the
whole day?
Yeah, so after school, I started going, I got out in April 6, 2006. From April 6 to like the second week of May, my father and stuff was trying to put me into a high school, you know, but the school year's about to end, and I think June it was back then. They end like the second week of June. So from that April 6th to the second or third week of June, I'm just in the crib or from Brooklyn to the Bronx, and I'm chilling in the Bronx, you know what I'm saying, on my block with my friends and stuff or whatever. And at nighttime, I'll get on the train and go my ass all the way back to East New York. So I'm living over there. I'm on juvenile parole, you know. I'm like, fuck it. I'm back to the robbing shit again. Yeah, I fall right back into that trap again with my cousin. Well, you can say he's my cousin. It's my sister's kid's uncle, which we grew up together from, you know, second grade up. So we like brothers or cousins, you could say. So me and him start robbing people, same thing. And we get locked up August of 06. So I was only out for like, I think 4 months, 3 months or something like that. We get locked up.
So obviously you violate.
Yeah, but that shit back then ain't like, this was the case that I caught. Now I'm going to Rikers Island. I'm 16.
Oof.
So this overrides that bullshit juvenile parole.
Was 16 the age? Like,
yeah, to go to Rikers Island. If you commit a felony, 16, and you're 16, you're going to Rikers Island. Back then.
Okay.
Even now, I think it's still the same.
And would that carry forward into your adult record? Like adult criminal record?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yep.
That's wild. Okay.
So
16 years old going to Rikers Island. That's hardcore.
So my co-D, which is my cousin, he already had been to Rikers Island because we did stuff and he got caught, I got away type shit. Him and my brother got caught and I got away. And in a situation in Harlem. So he already been to Rikers Island and he already made a name for himself. So he was already known. He ended up going home or going juvenile and going home. So when we get there, he tells me like, yo, it's about to, like, it's about to get real. Like, people gonna press you for whatever. They might press you for your sneakers, your jeans, whatever, your shirt, whatever, your PIN number. That's to use the phone.
Right.
And he was like, yo, whatever you do, don't be with nothing. If they come up to you and ask you if you with it, pop it off. Don't even let them finish what they saying. Once you hear the wit, pop it off. So he telling me all this. So I'm like, all right. So we go through the whole process together, going to Rikers Island, C-74, intake, you're in the pens. They put you, they dress, well, for some people, they might give them, take their sneakers and stuff, because back then you couldn't have bubbles. You could wear your regular clothes back then. Whatever you got locked up in, you go on the Rikers Island.
In Rikers Island,
yeah,
you could wear your regular clothes?
Yeah, back then. Now you wear jumpsuits that says DOC, everybody.
Right.
But back then, you wearing your regular clothes, so it's like you on the street.
That's wild.
Yeah, so.
That's crazy. I can't imagine people in Rikers Island like.
That's why it was so many robbings, people was getting robbed, extorted, all type of shit because of that. That's why they changed it.
Okay.
Yeah, so back then, 2006 August.
But what would they rob? Like their sneakers and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, it was, bro. It was a fashion show in there. They had all type of designer jeans, shoes, Pradas, Gucci's, Louis.
So you would come in wearing some fresh stuff,
ACGs,
and be like, yo, let me get
all
that.
of that.
Okay.
So if you had bubbles in your shoes, they'll take them. So my cousin, he had the 9.5s, the Air Max 9.5s. I had some crispy white ups on. So I got through with my white ups. They took his sneakers, put them in his property bag, and gave him the orange Patakis, them big orange slippers.
Right.
So he telling me like, yo, bro, I can't be seen like this. You got, give me a pair of sneakers. I'm like, all right, so what's the word? Like, what's up? We came in with like 7 other dudes or something like that, a handful of dudes. So it was probably like 8 of us all together. Basically, we ran down on some dude and extorted him basically inside the clinic. Because after they take your picture and all that, give you your PIN number, do all of that. You go from there to the PIN, they come right out the door, right into another door, and you're in the clinic. So they have the adolescents sitting in the 2 back rows, and the adults is in the other 2 front. So we in the back, basically, and we basically friendly extorted the dude out of his white uptown. He had white uptowns like me, and they was fairly decent, clean. So we basically friendly extorted him right there, and he gave him to my cousin, So that was the type of energy you had to have and bring stepping on Rikers Island at that time. And so young, 16 years old, 17 years old. And
did they separate the underage kids from the adults in Rikers Island?
Yeah, in the housing unit, but you're in the same building. So you passing them in the hallways. You going to you in the law and library with them. Some of them work in the law and library. They work on the visit floor. Yeah, you seeing them everywhere. You right literally less than 5 feet away from them when you crossing halls and stuff like that. So
you get the sneakers from this guy, you give them to your cousin. Where do you go from there?
From there, we go to intake house, which was mod 1 back then. Is a dormitory, 60 beds on both sides, north side, south side. So they put me on the north side, they put my cousin on the south side, and they put other dudes that was with us and, broke them down both sides. So we get over there, I run into a few dudes from the hood that I haven't seen in months, and I'm like, oh shit, this where you was at this whole time? And you just get in there and you just basically trying to see what is the hype about this shit, because your first time there, you don't know nothing. You in jail, you you're not trying to be punked or, get ran down on or anything like that. So you trying to just scope the scenery out and be on your P's and Q's. So nothing really happens in Mod 1. You might get a fight here and there over the phone. Other than that, nothing really happens. I stood there for probably 2 weeks, maybe. Then one morning they pack you up, and it could be during the day, during the afternoon, middle of the night, early in the morning. They woke me up, 2:30 in the morning. They pack up. Like what? 5 of us, 6 of us. Tell you, oh, where you going? They don't even tell you where you're going to. You basically following them down the hall to the house, to the housing area. And when they get there, they look at the floor cards and start reading names off. And if they read your name off, that's where you're going. So they finally get to Mod 2. It's another dormitory area for adolescents. And they read my name off. So I go inside. And I'm thinking niggas is going to be asleep because it's 2:30, 3:30 in the morning. I go inside and the whole house is on the gate. Literally everybody on the gate, going like this. Mean mugging, mean faces, crusty eyes, looking I'm like, what? I look to the right, to the south side, same thing. I'm like, oh, man. All you hear is, what's popping? What's cracking? What's popping? What's cracking? You banging? I'm like, oh, man, this shit crazy. I didn't even get in the door yet. So now they give the floor cards to the officers that work that housing unit, and they call your name and tell you if you're going to the north or the south. So they finally get to my name, and they said, oh, you're going to the south? I'm like, oh, man. I already see both sides is looking rowdy and crazy. And, I got on decent-looking clothes, a fresh pair of white ups, you know what I'm saying? So I'm like, all right. So as I'm about to walk to the south side, which was on my right-hand side, I hear somebody say something from the north side, and all I see is, everybody clearing out the way for that person to walk through the middle. And if another person from my block, he's basically he got the crib. It's his crib. He's running the house. You know what I'm saying? And he told the CO, yo, that's my cousin right there, yo. Put him on this side. Don't put him over there. So they put me on that side, which was the blood side. Because my hood was blood.
Bloods.
And
What was North and South Bloods and Crips?
Yeah, the south side was the Crip side.
Okay.
Yeah, so they put me on the north side. Seen a few more dudes from the hood that I ain't seen in months, And,
you got lucky, boy.
Yeah, I did.
You got lucky.
I did, because soon as them dudes that went on the south side, soon as they went in there, it went down. Soon as the door didn't even close all the way. I don't know what they said to them. They probably must have asked them for they PIN number, whatever. The nigga probably said something crazy like what, or invited the nigga to his,
It sends a whole gang of Bloods, a whole gang of Crips. Okay. And
they just smoked them. I'm watching through the glass, they beating the bricks off of 2 niggas, right? That just came in, 3 dudes, the whole house, 60 niggas, beating them up. I'm like, oh man. Wow. So yeah, I go to the north side and I'm just chilling in there. I have probably one fight in there, and
Do you become affiliated at this point?
Nah.
Okay.
I still wasn't in no gang. I rode with them in the street, when I was out in the town and in my neighborhood.
No, but I mean it's prison, so sometimes you gotta roll up.
Yeah, nah. I ain't joined no gang in prison in jail.
Okay.
Not in jail. And so yeah, I'm in there and going back and forth to court. I'm going through the motions, the shakedowns, the riots, it was crazy, bro.
There was a riot in there?
Multiple riots. Oh, I was in them shits, even when I didn't want to be, So it's it was crazy, bro. people used to go to the chapel to meet up with their gang members, their gang buddies and all that. I wasn't in a gang, so I really used to go there to try to pray the word of God, to try to help me to get the fuck out of here, some type of miracle or blessing, or get at least.
You're the only one using it for what
it's other people too, but I'm not communicating with them, so I wouldn't know. I only know what my mind is set on and what I'm trying to, accomplish, or at least pray to God, I'll go and get some rosary beads and stuff like that, get the bread and all of that, sit through the whole, thing or whatever. While other niggas is in there exchanging paperwork, telling them about this girl, what's going on, and whatever, mingling and exchanging information. A couple times they had different rival groups going at the same time, and they made a mistake, so a riot would break out, you know what I'm saying? And in the middle of the chapel while they preaching the word of God.
Gang war going on.
And these are all adolescents. We only 16, 17, 18, 19,
Mm-hmm.
So it used to be crazy, bro. I remember there was a freaking a riot in the chapel, and it spilled out into the corridors. And ESU was called. ESU is known to break bones. They don't ask questions. They don't talk. They break bones. That's all they do. Yeah. Basically, that's all they are. Them niggas don't play. You know what I'm saying? They come and break bones and ask questions later. Back then. And them niggas came and niggas start fighting with them. Some niggas start running down the hall, getting chased by ESU. It's looking like a circus in here, you know what I'm saying? And this is jail, and it's crazy. It's funny and it's crazy all at the same time, because, bro, where the fuck am I? What the fuck is going on in here? You know what I'm saying? And it was a circus in there, bro. It was from Mod 2, they ended up packing us up from there, and Mod 2 was located on the even side of the building, is what they call it. And that's where the adults was at. And then they had the MO crib. Mod 8 was the MO crib, all the crazy motherfuckers and shit. On the odd side of the building, they had the 1 building, the 3 building, and 5 building. Mind you, in one of them buildings, the 1 building is 6 houses. North side, 3 north side houses, 3 south side. So they got 1 main north, 1 main south, 1 upper north, 1 upper south, 1 lower north, 1 lower south, so on for the 3 building and the 5 building. Same thing. And these are cell houses. It still
corresponds. It's the same. One side is Bloods and one side is Crips.
Nah, it depends. It could be a Crip house. It could be a Patia house. It could be mixed. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes it be like that. And
was there any one gang that had main control of the whole prison, or was it kind of even?
Yeah, it was, well, in New York City, New York State, the Bloods is more dominant than, any other gang. Don't get me wrong, there's a lot of other gang members where they got numbers, but the blood, everybody's blood nowadays, so they numbers is up there, so it was more so the Bloods, but every individual gang was doing their own thing, putting in their own work whenever they had to, or whatever the case may be. So they switched us from Mod 2, to Mod 3 lower. And that's another dorm. So we living in there, and I probably got into 1 altercation in there, and I ended up getting box time. So they packed me up a little while later after that and shipped me off to the box.
Was that the first time that happened to you?
What, to the box?
Yeah. Yeah,
that was the first time going to the box on Rikers Island. And it was only for 5 days. I was pissed. I'm like, really? 5 days? And so I go to the box, and that shit is horrible. Dirty, mice, roaches. It was just so dirty, and it's just so horrible and depressing. You barely get any sunlight in the through your windows, and it's big windows, just that they got some metal mesh on the windows that it blocks most of the sunlight, so there's always dark in there unless they cut your light on or whatever. You ask for it to be cut on. And I was in there for them 5 days, and when I got out, I was happy as hell. From there, they obviously send you to a different house. From Mar 3 lower, I think I went to 5 Main. 5 Main North Side, one of the worst houses at that time. The people that was running the house was like some grimy ass niggas, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, they was grimy, like, but you had to be like that, you know what I'm saying, in order to survive. So it was multiple riots in there, multiple riots, like every day, every single other day, every day, like, because what happened was you would get 2 or 3 new dudes coming in. Out of them 3, maybe one of them is tough or want to be tough. Like, yeah, I'm not with nothing. Y'all not taking my commissary, my phone calls, nothing. I want muffins on Sundays. I want my Frosted Flakes on Sundays because, they had that back then. And whoever was weak, they wasn't getting none of that. Like, you wasn't getting muffins. You wasn't getting Frosties on Sundays. You wasn't touching that phone, really. You was giving up your phone calls. Commissary come, you was sending it in all, if not all your commissary, most of your commissary, They would probably feed you, but you was doing other stuff too, like washing people's shirts and clothes and stuff like that. And so every day, the dude that ran the house, we would have to go to school, mandatory there. You got to go to school. So we would line up on the tier at like 8:30 or 8 o'clock or something in a single line. And it was a blood house. If you, in certain situations or certain houses that was blood, if you say, all right, for instance, you know how certain Bloods, they'll, instead of saying the C, they'll put B before every C word. Right. If you said, because you got to count off, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. If you said 6, niggas was killing you. Right then and there. Like, it wasn't no talking. The closest nigga to you in line was popping your bottle for saying 6.
Because of the 6-point star?
Yeah, because, that's Crip, and we in the blood house. Like, so instead of saying 6, you're supposed to say Bix.
Oh, okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Same thing for 16, Bix team, 20 Bix. Like that. Stupid shit, This is all gang life and gang culture
it's like
stuff.
An unwritten Bible of rules.
So they was on it like that, and people was getting smoked.
It's like Compton, Bompton.
Yeah.
That whole thing? Yeah,
people was getting smoked every day. And then he would come after people finished counting. If everybody said it right and nobody had to get smoked right then and there, and it was 2 or 3 new dudes that came in the night before, he'll ask at the top of the tier, yo, y'all niggas want to go to school today, or y'all want to lock in for the whole morning? Once 2, 3 niggas say lock in, whoever was them 2, 3 dudes that came in was getting popped on right there by the whole house. Everybody on the tiers jumping them. 5 niggas on one nigga, 5 niggas on the other nigga, 10 niggas on the other nigga. Niggas running back and forth, getting hits. And they'll come in, turtles, beat up everybody, spray, lock everybody in, and then niggas go back to sleep till like 4 o'clock, next tour. Sometimes they might not even let us out the next tour. Only the one nigga that serves the food, and then the other dude that he's supposed to be watching to make sure nobody hang theyself. So, yeah, it was like that on a consistent basis. One time I got popped on in that house. We was lined up for school in the hallway.
You weren't in the house, so you got separated from your cousin in that a long time ago, right?
Yeah, when we left Mar 1, he already had left before me, probably like a couple of days before me, and he went to 5 lower. Okay. I was on the other side of the building, the one that I'm talking about now.
Right.
So, I got popped on. They had the north side and the south side in the corridor at the same time to go to school, because we went to school in the back of the jail, which was called the Sprungs. It was outside in some little trailers and shit like that. And we had to go to school in there. There was like classrooms. So we lined up in the back before we go down the steps to go outside through the pathway and all of that. And 2 Crip dudes came in the night before.
Into that unit that was full of Bloods?
Yeah, 5 Main North Side. But they came in when everybody was locked in at like 1 in the morning or something.
So nobody saw them?
Yeah, niggas knew that they came in, because, you got the 2 niggas that's on the tier, or the one person that stay out, which is the suicide prevention aid, which, he's supposed to, like I said, make sure nobody hang up, the SPA. So he's the only one out at night, all night. So he knows, and then, it's other people listening to their Walkman, talking with each other, so they know. So the next morning, like I said, we all lined up, north side, south side. It's about 60 of us all in the hallway, up against the wall, lined up. Big ass crowd. I'm in the back, towards the back, and I'm like close to the wall. And all I just feel was a punch to my jaw. Boom! I'm like, oh, I fell into the wall. And when I turned around and looked and I seen who it was, I realized it was one of the Crip dudes that came in the night before. So I bounced myself off the wall and I just two-pieced him. Boom, boom. He curled up and everybody right there, I swear to God, was trying to kill him, stomping him out. And then there was the other Crip dude that came with him. He popped on some Indian dude, knocked his tooth out. And then a group of dudes ran up on him and smoked him. So we ended up smoking them right there in the hallway, right there. They start spraying the mace, everything, yelling, screaming. They pressed the PBA. More turtles come, and it was over after that. They took them 2 niggas up out of there, and we just went to school.
How come you call them turtles?
That's what they look like.
Because of the whole thing.
Yeah, they got them big-ass helmets. They got them big vests with them sticks. And... yeah, they look like brolic turtles. They mad brolic. Back then, they were some big COs. They was like on steroids, I guess. I don't know, but so yeah. And then we went back to school. But I'd be lying if I tell you that my shit wasn't hurting. You heard?
Yeah.
I thought he broke my jaw because that was what we was famous for back then. Not to brag or glorify, but that's what was going on. People was breaking people's jaws left or right on Rikers Island, wiring people's jaws, like, you know what I'm saying? In the adolescence, like. You know, that's what a lot of people, certain people was known for breaking few dudes' jaws, like, you know, off a punch. And I thought he broke my shit. My shit was hurting so bad for like days, like 3-4 days. I was like, oh, man.
All right, guys, taking a quick break from the podcast to talk to you about Gus Villa Jewelry. Yo, let's be real here for a second. If you're rocking plain jewelry in Miami, of all places, you are doing it 100% wrong, my boy. Step your game up with Gus Villa Jewelry, the plug for real Cuban link gold and silver chains. And of course, the cleanest Rolexes in all of Miami. This isn't factory made or watered down or any of that stuff. This is high quality, custom, handmade stuff that shines from here to the moon. It turns heads, starts conversations, and makes you look fresh. Gus has something that'll level up your whole vibe. And because you're locked in here with us at Honor Among Thieves podcast, you're getting a hookup. Use the promo code Montana at checkout. Get 5% off your entire order. That's right, 5% off. Go check them out at GusVillaJewelry.com or pull up on them in the Diamond District down here in downtown Miami. GusVillaJewelry.com. Again, that's GusVillaJewelry.com. And tell them your boy Montana sent you. Gus Villa Jewelry. Now back to the podcast. Yeah, if you get hit and you're not, like if it's a sucker punch and you have a relaxed jaw, and you get hit.
Yeah, it's over.
Yeah. So I still box a little bit, but I remember one time I was sparring and I was tired and I was breathing through my mouth. You never do that in boxing. And the dude caught me with a punch right here.
Woo.
To this day, like that popping, it still happens. And I mean, my jaw is fine, but I've never had that pop until that day.
That's
I even got
crazy.
scared because I never heard that pop sound before. So, yeah, I know what you mean, because when they catch you with a sucker punch and your jaw's, like, relaxed or you're talking.
And then, mind you, it was early in the morning, so I'm still half asleep. I'm not really up, you know.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't throw water on my face, brush my teeth, clean up, but I'm still tired, like. And I was surprised that he didn't break my shit, like, because the way he caught me, he should have broke it. And I was just like, damn, I was in pain for, like, 4 or 5 days after that. But I held it down, though. Like, they asked me, like, yo, you good? COs, I'm like, yeah, I'm good. Fronting. But I was hurting, you heard? I just tried to hold it down, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And my shit was snapping and popping, too, for a little while. And then it went away, like, you know? So I was thankful for that. And then, you know, after that, I think I I got sentenced. All that time I was fighting that case, like, you know, the robbery case.
How much time is this, like, between when you go in and you're fighting?
So I go in August 06. All of this is probably like, I think I got sentenced in like December or some shit like that.
So all that happened in only 5 months?
Yeah, plus more. It was way more than that. It was a whole bunch of shit going on, bro.
That is crazy.
A whole bunch of shit.
That's wild.
So then after that, I got sentenced in December. I think. The end of December. And then the new year come rolling in. So February. No, I'm lying. I copped out in December. Because you cop out first, then you actually get sentenced. So I copped out they gave me a year, 2 years, but ran concurrent. Because the robbery that me and my cousin did, my co-D, we did it in the Bronx, but we got caught in Brooklyn. And on my way to my crib where I was living at with my father. We got caught on the train, some dumb shit. And so we had 2 cases. We was going to court in Bronx and Brooklyn court. You know, every time we would go, we was always together and see each other and shit, like, you know, talking what's going on over here, this, that, and third. So I get sentenced, I think, in like January or the beginning of February of 2007.
Okay.
And from there, after I got sentenced, I went to the 6th building. My cousin was already in the 6th building during his year, or finishing it up, I should say. So I go over there. And over there is completely different from the 4 building. The 4 building is people running the crib, and you know they got it's 2 people running the crib, and then it's 4 niggas on the team. Those are like the enforcers or whatever, shit like that. And over there in the 6th building is just 2 people with the phone. It's basically the person, you know, people running the phone. So before I got over there, when I was in court getting sentenced or whatever, I ran in.
When you say 2, so the 2 people that ran the crib, you mean like one ran the north side and one ran the south?
No, 2 people running one side. Like say for instance, me and you was in the house together, you will have half the crib and I will have
the other half. Okay.
Like that.
And then the 4 enforcers were like their lieutenants?
Basically, yeah, the enforcers.
Okay.
But they all do shit together. They all jump niggas together, like, you know? And so the 6th building was just 2 people running the phone. There was 3 phones in each house.
Okay.
And the 6th building only had 2 houses for the adolescents. The whole building was adults. And the whole building was a sentence building. So everybody there was doing either 16 months, 4 months, or 8 months, 9 months, 10, whatever. Yeah. No more than a year. And a year was 8 months on Rikers Island. I don't know if it still is, you know, to this day, but back then it was. So I send a kite with some dude that I ran into from the 6th building, and how I was able to know he from the 6th building because they wear tan.
Right.
That mean they sentenced. I'm wearing my regular clothes still. So I see him, I'm like, yeah, you in, you know, holler at him, yo, you in 6th building, what house you in? Tell me, so I'm like, yo, take this kite and send it over. Take it with you and give it to whoever's running the phones over there because
I'm coming. A kite is like a note.
Yeah, basically like a little note. So, you know, I wrote in there like, yo, I'm coming for the phone. Like, I need half the phone, basically. So he did that, and it got there, whatever. So when I first got there, I got to the crib like 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning. Certain people was getting up for breakfast. Mostly everybody was asleep, though. So, mind you, I've been on Rikers Island for like a good 6 months, I think, or something like that. So I got a lot of shit, you know. You can't really have a lot of stuff in the 6th building because it's a sentence building, you know. You can't have regular clothes really at all. You wearing that brown uniform shit. So I had, you know, you could have your own sneakers still. So I had a few pair of sneakers, I think, 2 or 3. So when I get there at 2, 3 in the morning, whatever, I go to fix my bed and then put my sneakers under my bed. So some dude like, yo, I wouldn't do that if I was you. Basically saying, I'm like, what you mean? Like, you nigga, like, you don't know who I am? And I told him my name, whatever. He was like, oh, you J.O.? Because they used to call me J.O. back then. And he like, yeah, people be stealing sneakers, like sneak thieving, basically. I'm like, ain't nobody sneak thieving my shit. Like, you bugging. So I go to sleep for like a little bit and end up waking up for breakfast. So I want to see who's in this dorm, see if I know anybody, because everybody's gonna get up for breakfast.
Right.
So everybody get up. I'm about to go brush my teeth and stuff. Some dude pulls up on me named YG. He like, yo, you J.O.? I'm like, yeah. Well, he like, yo, you related to Drama? I'm like, yeah. He like, yo, the phone on the left is yours, you heard? I'm like, all right, say that. So, yeah, it was just, you know, I was in there.
So you have built a reputation for yourself in there because if you said your name and he was like, oh, shit, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I wasn't doing nothing crazy. I just wasn't the one to, like, you know, take nothing from nobody. Like, you know what I mean? I'm not gonna let you rob me and do any of that. Like, you know what I'm saying? You might have to really kill me or something. Like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like I said, you have to be on that type of timing in there, especially at that time with the adolescents in the 4 building, because you could wear your own clothes. You could wear gold rosaries. You could wear pinky rings. You could wear G-Shocks, earrings, Cartier glasses.
As well.
True religions.
I can't imagine any of that in prison.
That's what I'm saying. True religions. Like, bro, it was crazy. It was a fashion show because, mind you, we around females too, the COs. And niggas is trying to impress these hoes. Of course. You know what I'm saying? Niggas is in their face all day trying to, impress them. So, especially the adolescents, you know what I mean? And
did you ever hear about any of the dudes end up like hooking up with one of the COs?
Hell yeah. My man Flea from Lower East Side, my son Flea, his name's Tutor. He changed his name to Flea. Yeah, he had some CO bitch named Miss Paris. She was in 3 Upper in the 4 building. And she was right. She was nice. Yeah, she was fucking with a couple of inmates back then.
That's wild.
Yeah. She got fired and all that, matter of fact, for that shit.
Yeah, I mean, when she
got caught up.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
So you get the phone on the left back in the new unit.
Yeah. So when I get there, right, this shit is different because it's Bloods and Crips in the house that I'm in, and I'm like, oh man, mind you, like I said, it's not the same as the 4 building where they run in the house. Right. That's why it's like that. That's why it's half Blood and half Crips. The Bloods got this side, the Crips got the corners all the way in the back. You know what I'm saying? For the most part, everybody getting along. It's fights here and there, because it's 2 opposing gangs, like, Every other day, it was a new Crip nigga coming in, like, or a new Blood, and they're mostly Crips, you know what I'm saying? Because they know, a lot of adolescents.
So it's like the opposite. The Crips run this whole side of the...
They don't run it, but they just did. They got some numbers with them, you know what I'm saying? But we had numbers too. I still wasn't, like, in no gang, but I was, always with the Bloods, for whatever reason. My older brother was Blood and stuff like that. Like I said, my hood was, Blood affiliated, if not Blood. So I've always rode with them. So we had our own little section, whatever, and I was only there for I was going home, because once you get to the 6th building, they tell you your release date. So I was there for I think 3.5 weeks. And in that 3.5 weeks, a whole lot of shit happened. The night I went home, there was a riot with the Crips.
That's wild.
2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Like, you would think people sleeping in jail at that time.
Right.
But niggas is up still, making mad noise, violating the CO, you know what I'm saying? Captain coming down, cutting on all the lights, cursing us out, telling us if we got to come back down here again, we coming with the team and we gonna smash all of y'all, whatever, slap all the... It was crazy. And had CO bringing in liquor, you know what I'm saying? It was crazy. Like, I ain't believe it at first. My cousin told me that when he was there first. And I was still in the 4, but he's like, yo, nigga, you gotta come. We got the CO bringing us Henny and all that, nigga, Chinese food, everything. I'm like, what? I'm over there. I'll be there soon. Like, you know what I'm saying? Not to glorify, but, when you in them, people don't understand. When you in them situations, you got 2 type of people when you in jail, the weak and the strong. And that weak and strong shit go a long way as far as, weak being, if you're going to let that shit take over you and you're just going to be depressed and sad all day, every day in there, your time is going to go by slow.
100%.
So when I was in there, I always had fun. I made sure I had fun because it's like, bro, we already in a bad situation. Like, you know what I'm saying? I got to do something to make this time go by, you feel me? Yep. So, yeah, we was always trying to make fun, have fun, and doing stupid shit that teenagers do. We supposed to be in high school and shit, but we in jail. You know what I mean? And yeah, I was there for a few weeks. My release date from there was April 16th, 2007. So the night I went home, like I said, it was a riot. Got caught up in that. They tried to tell me, oh, you ain't going home. I'm like, what, nigga? I'm going home today. Like, so I ended up going home from there. They drove me home, actually. I think I signed up for some program they had there where they take you home, and I guess they try to help you after. But none of that shit mattered. I got home, I was free again. Seen all my niggas on the block, yo, I mean, it was like, you get a badge of honor coming home from there, like from the homies from the block. Yeah, that shit is stupid now. You know what I mean? When you think back on it. And from there, I still started. I was robbing again. I was good for a little bit because I ain't come home on papers or nothing. You know what I mean? I did my 8 months and I was free.
And they let you go.
Yeah, so I started robbing shortly after that. I needed money. Well, my parents wasn't rich, they didn't have money like that, so it wasn't.
You go back to Brooklyn at this point?
Nah, I go back to the Bronx, and I'm
Okay.
living with my mom's again. And sadly, a couple weeks after I came home, my mom passed away in the crib and all that. Yeah, we found her in the crib and all that.
Did that make you go deeper into kind of that life?
Yeah, it was from there. It was like a downward spiral. Like I was like, fuck it, I ain't. You know what I mean, at that time, my mindset was like, I ain't got nothing to live for. Like, my father's there, but it's like it's not like your mom. Like your mom is your everything. Like and take that for granted when you're running these streets and you're out here, committing these crimes, going to these prisons and these jails and spending decades or years behind these bars.
Were you the one that walked in on your mom, and found her?
No, actually, it's crazy because it was my sister and my cousin, but we all walked into the building together. One elevator came first, and they all packed in, and it was too many people. So the second one came down while they was going up. So when I got off the second elevator that went up, as soon as the door opened, all I heard was like yelling and screaming. So I ran around the corner like, yo, what the fuck? Like, what happened? And that's when I seen my mom was in the living room on the floor and shit, and they, trying to hold her and stuff. And we had to call the ambulance and all that. They got up out of there. She was on life support for a little bit, and we all came to the decision, she wouldn't want to suffer like this, So we just had to pull a plug, and yeah, that was tough.
What was the cause? Why did she die?
She had a brain aneurysm.
Oh,
Yeah.
I have a family member who had an aneurysm. It's the craziest thing because it's just like.
Mm-hmm. Out of nowhere, and you wouldn't even know, unless you one of them people that actively go to, do checkups and stuff like that. And back then, nobody was doing that.
Right.
You know what I mean? So yeah, she passed away May 3rd, 2007. Yeah. And from there, like I said, it was just downward spiral,
so
man.
You're like 18 at this point? 18, 19?
Yeah, 18.
Okay.
So yeah, that was 2007. May. I came home April 2007. Got locked back up October 2007, Halloween. Another robbery. This time, though, it was a little different because the dude that I supposedly had robbed, the night I got locked up with my co-defendant, some other dude, we didn't rob him because he didn't have what I thought he would have had, so we let him go. We ran up on him in the elevator in the building, the projects. He didn't have the chain, so we let him go. So we didn't take nothing. But earlier that year in February, I actually robbed him, not that year because I was still locked up. I forget, I don't know, I think it was a year before that I robbed him for a chain in the building, same way, by myself though. And that's what he told the cops that I did. And that was a long time ago, and I got arrested for that. Because that day, Halloween, we didn't take nothing from him. So I got arrested Halloween night, 2007. I was only out for 4 months. Go back to Rikers Island. This time I already know what it's hitting for. I know everything about this shit. So it ain't nothing. I go back in there.
Yeah, you went in there, you know exactly what Rikers is like. So it's like.
So I go back in there and I'm running in a couple people that I just left. Stupid shit. And this time it's robbery in the second. It's robbery in the first degree, but they drop it down to robbery in the second degree. And I stood on Rikers Island from October 2008 to October 2007 to October 2008.
So you did another year.
Yeah, I did a whole year on Rikers Island, and then I got sentenced October 2008, and I went up north, I think, November, the beginning of November 2008, and I went to the Marcy Correctional Facility. And I'm in there, first time in prison, don't know shit about this. I'm know everything about Rikers Island, so I know, not to try not to get involved with the wrong people and shit like that. So I get there and I'm in this dorm and it's like a bunch of old motherfuckers like that been locked
you're an adult.
up.
Now you're an adult for real.
Yeah, and now I'm seeing people that's been down since the 70s. Like, their number is 74A 2334 or 65A 65. The number before the letter is the year they came up north. They was already locked up probably 2 or 3 years fighting their case because most of the time it's murder cases and shit like the kidnapping, rape, shit like that. But I'm seeing people that been down before I was born.
That's crazy. Since
the 80s, early 80s. And I'm like, one dude, he shows me his photo album from when he first came to prison, looking like a young man. And as I'm flipping the pages, they're getting older and older and older, gray hair, and more gray hair. And I'm like, oh, this nigga been living here forever. Like, So I'm in there, I meet up with a few people, because, people gonna try to interact with you when you're in there,
Right.
So I'm trying to figure out, you gotta learn how to read and analyze people for what their real intentions is in there, because you never know. They got what type of, people that rape people in there or try to, or whatever the case may be, try to buy them out or swindle them into like that type of activity behind the walls and stuff like that. And so I'm in the what is it called? They call it the intake dorm. I think it's like D1 or something like that. D1 or D2. And I'm just going with the motion. I'm meeting new people, seeing like who I could roll with or, just politic with. Ain't nothing else to do. So I start like I said, being with the Bloods all over again in prison, state prison now. So
but
I'm
now
walking.
It's all adults. There's no kids.
Yeah, no. Well, yeah, it is all adults actually, because that was an all adult jail.
Right.
I was the youngest. Me and some other dude was the youngest, the two youngest teenagers in that jail at the time, 2008. And
so obviously that's the main difference from Rikers, right? Like these are grown men. These aren't kids.
Yeah. I mean, you're around grown men on Rikers too, but not like on an everyday basis. Like you see them on Rikers and you might mingle with them if you get the chance, but in there you literally sleeping right next to one, like in a different cube type shit, So, I start hanging with the Bloods. I start walking with them to chow. They walk in groups by different sets, and I started hanging out with the Bloodstone villains, the Stones. And every day they start asking me, yo, when you gonna turn stone? Yo, when you gonna put that rock in your pocket? That's what they lingo and how they talk. So I ended up doing it one day. Like, I was like, fuck it. I ain't even have to. I could have did my bit smooth sailing, But I ended up doing it. And
it was a matter of time. I mean, you've been around the Blood so long that it was it was inevitable, really.
I ended up doing it, and that shit ended up we end up getting into some shit with, other sets. There's a lot of prison politics up there with like different gangs, even Bloods on Bloods beef. It's crazy, bro. It's stupid. Like, that's why I stopped dealing with that stuff, because it's like I'm joining something that started for oppression, but you niggas is oppressing niggas. Or we oppressing niggas, you know what I'm saying? It just didn't make sense to me no more. Like, it didn't add up. Like, shit is backwards. You stupid. Like, that shit makes no sense at all.
Right.
So it was a lot of, blood on blood beef. If Crips came to the jail, to the prison, they was out of there. Sometimes it'd be Blood and Latin King beef, or Blood and Patia beef, or Blood and MS-13 beef, you know what I'm saying? They ain't got all them other gangs like how they got in different states. All them stupid name gangs that they be having in other states. They ain't got none of that in New York State. There's only probably about 5 major prison gangs in New York State. And so a situation had happened where it became the Stones against the Stones. And I'm like, what the hell? Like, I didn't sign up for this. Like, so long story short, a certain branch of hood from the Stones, meaning some dude in there had his own set,
right,
where he had other people under him or whatever, and whatever the case may be, that hood got faded, meaning they a dub. There's no more of them. Like, whoever they are, they fool now. When you see them, it's on site, whatever the case may be, cut them, stand, whatever. So he wasn't jacking that. He was like, what? So all the other Stones and my, you know, like, it's different Stone sets. Like, you know, I'm not going to name all of them, but it's different ones. And all the other ones that was, you know, against what he was saying,
right,
started beefing. So now we all in the mix of this shit. Every Stone is in the mix. So if you see another Stone on the walkway, you might have to cut him or stab him, whatever the case may be, or he might try to do it to you. So me and this dude is going to school in the evening from like 5:30 to 7:30 at nighttime. Mind you, I'm only 18, I think, or 19 at this point, maybe. No, 18 still. And I'm like, I always been tall, always been like 6 feet, 6'1". I'm like 155 pounds, like 60 pounds the most. This dude is like 6'3", 240-something pounds, big. I'm like, I'm not going to school no more. It's over.
yeah,
I'm not about to stab this nigga, or he have to stab me or cut me, or I got to cut him, and I got 5 months left to go home with good time. I'm like, it's not happening. So I signed out of school, and I'm like, I'm going to avoid this problem. I'm not, you feel me? So that's what ended up happening. Thank God I didn't have to go that route, or nothing had to happen to me. So I was in a drug program in the prison, which is called ASAT, and then the anger management, which is ART. 6-month drug program and 3-month anger management program. You got to complete both of those before going home. So I completed them 9 months altogether. And once I completed that, they took me out of Marcy and shipped me to Mohawk, which is like 5-minute drive away, maybe 10-minute down the block, we used to say. I get to Mohawk, and as soon as I get there, it's nothing but tension over there with the homies. Like, every time you go to the yard, you could just feel it in the air, like something's about to happen. Like, I don't know why it's like that in prison, but you just know and feel, like, and it always goes down, like, mad tension everywhere. So, luckily for me, what I thought was luckily for me, one day they called me down, oh, you got to call out, got to go to the counselor's office. I'm like, all right. Mohawk is a prison where it's nothing but it's no young dudes in there. It's all lifers that's, you know, basically stepped down from the maxes into the mediums because they've been doing good behind the wall, and it's all people with long bids. And the counselor, I go to the counselor office and he tell me, he said, whoa, you're not supposed to be here. You're only 18. I'm going to send you, you got to go. I'm going to send you to the adolescent jail, which is Green Correctional or Washington Correctional Facilities. So I already knew about Green. I was hearing about Green in the street before I even went to Rikers Island, like, you know? And I'm like, yeah. Once he told me that, I'm like, I don't want to go to Green. I already know I'm going to get into something and I'm going to lose my good time. So I told him that. I was like, yo, I'll be real with you. If I go to Green, I'm going to end up catching a new charge, or I'm going to lose my good time, and I'm trying to make it home for 2010 summer.
right.
So he said, all right, I'm going to send you to Washington. I'm like, all right. So I get to Washington Correctional Facility, I think like the summer of 2009, early summer, probably like July, second week, maybe first week of July. It's mad hot. Everybody over there, it's nothing but young dudes, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, maybe 21, 22. Mostly teens. Everybody's the big homie. Everybody's running this. Everybody's running that. And it's like, bro, I'm coming from a grown man jail. Like, ain't none of this going on. Like, you know what I'm saying? All this horse playing and ruthless talking and all of that. Nigga, you gonna die in here. You feel me? Over there it was something different. Like, everybody suck my dick. Everybody talking crazy. Everybody, man, it was crazy over there. So I ended up getting to the dorm or whatever, and I'm still blood. I'm still Stone. And I'm link up with the young Stonies and the Hat Boys, the Brims. And we just chilling in there. We doing our thing. Next thing you know, we start beefing with the YG niggas, the Young Gunners. And from there, it was all-out riots everywhere in the jail, like, everywhere. Like, I don't know what happened. I forgot I think they popped on one of the homies on the walkway going to Chow or wherever he was going, and they got him real bad. Like, they like really beat the crap out of him, you know what I'm saying? And word got back to us and back to the other homies. And from there, it was like every time niggas went outside for a Chow, wherever we was going, somebody had to get got. And it was like that from both sides. So they was feeling the same type of way because we would get one of them and get them up out the jail, and they would get one of us, get us up out the jail, whatever the case may be. So that shit went back and forth for a little bit, a few days. And then one day, we go to the mess hall. Mind you, the mess hall is mad big. Sit over 100 people in there. And we in line. I'm with the Stonies. We all the way in the front of the line, though. We already got our trays. We waiting to get our food. Next thing you know, where we standing at, you could see the front of the entrance. You know, you coming through the vestibule area, you in like the foyer vestibule area. Once you get through the first door, then the second door, you in the mess hall, and then you start going around to get to the line. Get your, your food.
Right.
So we see a group of like 5 YG dudes come in, and they start walking, skipping the whole line, came straight up to one of the Stonies that was in line behind me, a couple people behind me, smacked them with the tray. From there, it was all full-blown riot right there in the mess hall. Everybody jumping over shit, throwing garbage cans, flinging trays, beating people up in the corner. A couple people got cut. It was crazy. Like, that was like one of the craziest riots I ever been in jail or prison ever. Like, so I did my little thing, probably smashed a couple people with a garbage can, and I got up out of there. I wasn't really trying to get caught up in nothing because I had 5 months with the good time. Like, so I'm trying to make it for the 2010 summer. And that day we had like a bowl of soup and pizza and salad. So I guess when I was, doing whatever I was doing, fighting, moving, somebody flung a tray and the soup ended up getting on like my shoulder, but I didn't know until after I did what I did, I walked back out into the vestibule area, like not walked, but like jogged out and ran. And when I ran out, one CO grabbed me, and he was like, "Sarge," it was the sergeant right there. He was like, "Sarge, what do you want me to do? He got food all over him. What do you want me to do?" Basically saying like, oh, he was a part of it. He was
a part of it, yeah.
So he was like, "Cuff him." They cuffed me right there. They take you straight to the box. Like, you can't even get nothing from your housing, nothing. They come back and get all your shit for you. So they take everybody straight to the box. Everybody that got cuffed straight to the box. It's like a 30-man cell box, single cell. So we get to the box, everybody in there going crazy, I'm thinking I'm gonna get like 3 months, 90 days in the box, 4 months, 120. I go to the hearing, that shit said 24 months, 12 months lost a good time. Wow. I'm like, yeah, it's over. I ain't going home 2010 summer, more like 2010 winter. And yeah, I was in that box for 30 days. They ship you off to the S block, 2-man cell. And they shipped me to Mid-State S block. And I was in there. I was in there for like 15 months or some shit like that in the box. And it was...
You did 15 months in the box?
Yeah. It was crazy. And that ain't shit. And when I got there, it was people there already for 5 years, 6 years, 10 years. One of the homies was in there for 9 years. Wow. I was like, what? And people don't understand, man. When your freedom's taken away from you, that shit hurt. But when your freedom is taken away from you inside of jail, nigga, that shit breaks people down.
Think about it. And punishment in prison is to separate you even more,
This is the first time I'm going to the box in prison, So it's not like Rikers Island. Thank God it was way better. Thank God. That's the only thing, like, you know what I'm saying? But other than that, it's real depression, suicidal. It's real... You have a lot of mixed emotions when you're in there, especially when you're in there by yourself. Like, you know what I mean? It's a double bunk cell. You do get a bunkie, but some of them come in with 60 days, 30 days, 90 days. And if you're a nigga that got 2, 3, 4 years in the box, you going through 20. I went through 21 different bunkies the whole time I was in there.
Wow.
Yeah. So I was in that shit, and like I said, I was stressed. When I came home, bro, my face was so, like,
Pale?
not even pale. Like, I was just broke. Like, my face broke out crazy. Like, crazy. I got a picture in my phone. The first day I came home and I look at it, I'm like, yo, my face was, I had spots everywhere. Like, and I'm like,
Crazy.
it was crazy. I was mad skinny. You know, you barely eat in there.
Yeah, the food they serve you in there is trash.
Yeah, and it was just a horrible experience, man.
Would you say that's the experience that finally like made you really think about going back to prison and all that? Like about maybe changing your life? At least the initial thoughts.
Not even.
No, even after 15 months in the box.
Yeah, not even. While I was in the box, I was sending letters to the plug in his town, telling him, "Yo, when I come home, I need some work, cause you already know my mom just died. You know what I mean? And my mom, like I said earlier, she had a lot of plugs and connects, big time niggas. Right. One of them happened to live in my building, you know, and I knew him as I grew up. I used to, I worked for him and all that, hustling for him and all that. So. Yeah, I was writing him that, yo, I need some grams when I get out, nigga. I ain't gonna have nothing, like, feel me? So he got me right when I did get out. But being in the box, man, that shit broke me down, like, you know. Only reason why I was able to even stay sane in there and not lose my mental is because we had weed in there. Like, I was getting high every single day, like, and that took me out of the box and put me in a whole nother dimension, you know. And I thank God for that, because I seen people lose it in there. Like, I seen people eat their own feces, smear the windows with feces, and drink their own piss, and all type of crazy shit. Like, just bang their head on walls and door, like jump off the table inside of the thing, head first into the fucking toilet. Just crazy shit. Like, because that shit really breaks you down if you're not strong enough to, you know, deal with it. You're gonna fold, like, you know. For me, I was working out a lot, and I was I read a lot of books in there, like just regular hood novels and shit like that. Mad different books that'll take me out of there and actually put me in the book type shit, you know. So I read a lot of those type of books. I read a lot of James Patterson books and Donald Goins books, mystery books and shit like that. I got into trouble in there too. I ended up getting 7 years in the box altogether. Yeah, wow. I went there with 2, and I ended up getting 5 extra because I was just getting in trouble, but not even for nothing serious though, because it was all for dirty urines. You know, they give you a year for dirty urine, a year. They can't do nothing else to me because I'm going home from here. Like, I'm on the max out now. I go home October 2010 instead of May 2010. I lost the 6 months. You know what I'm saying? Whatever it is, 5 months, whatever. And they couldn't give me more time, like, to actually do in prison. So they just kept giving me a year. Every time I gave them a dirty urine, I gave them 5. Like, I didn't care though. Only thing that would happen in the box was you'll lose your level. Like, if you're on level 3, you go back down to level 1 to the first floor, to the first tier. They'll take your headphones, whatever. They supposed to leave you with a certain amount of books, magazines. But I was there for so long that none of that never happened. I always had an extra pair of headphones. You know what I mean? I had books. I was like one of the fishing masters. I could fish from one cell all the way on the other side and get whatever I need if I needed it. Like, that's how it really was. And yeah, one time they put me on a loaf, and that's the bread that it's like a circle with different stuff in it. They don't give you no breakfast, lunch, or dinner trays. They give you the loaf, and that's part of your discipline for getting tickets in the box. Like, so I dealt with that for seven days. That was horrible. Felt like I was gonna die. One time them niggas came through. They had just came and gave out mail or whatever, so I just got some mail and all that. You know, my bunkie got mail. I knew my bunkie from Rikers Island. We was on Rikers Island when we was a little younger doing, you know, adolescent bid. So, and we was both in the same blood set. So we was bunked up together, and he was getting the bag. His shorty was bringing the weed every Saturday. You know what I'm saying? So we was lit. We had everything. And one day after they came and gave us the mail, they had came on a search. Mind you, we got mad paperwork in our cell because we gang banging. And if you get caught with paperwork, that's like a violation that you got to deal with. You know what I'm saying? And we had mad roaches of blunts, a Bible paper and shit on a cell. It's like you could say a windowsill, basically. Mm-hmm. So they come on a search. We had to rip up all the paperwork. It was raining that day. We ended up throwing the shit out the rec pen because you got your rec pen is in the cell. There's a door behind your bunk bed. You open it, you outside in your rec pen. And we had to do that. And during the search, they ripped up my man's pictures. And he was pissed. Like, he just got them, like, in the mail earlier that day. So when it was time to go back in the cell, I was in the, they put me in first. I uncuffed, went in the rec pen, I closed it. And then they put him in. And when they went to uncuff the nigga, he yanked his hand back. Boom. So the keys flew in there and we had the handcuffs. So he took the shits off. They shut the whole jail down just for that. Like, I was like, bro, y'all serious? Like, they had the core administration, all that. So whenever we came out our cell, we had to be walked with the leash. I don't know if you ever seen that in TV shows. That shit is real. Like, niggas put the leash on you just in case you try. Anytime you come out your cell, you gotta have like 3 COs with you and a sergeant and the leash and all that. So we was doing that shit. And I was just going with the motions, man, you know, trying to hurry up and get out. I already knew I was maxing out from here. So I ended up maxing out. I went home, I think, October 21st, 2010. And like I said, ain't nothing changed. I was still ready to get right back into it. This time, though, I'm not doing robberies no more. I'm going back to selling drugs. Like, it's more easier, I feel. I've been watching people do it my whole life, you know what I'm saying? And
back to crack, like crack cocaine?
Yeah. This time, though, I'm doing it for myself, though. I'm not working for nobody.
For
I'm not
anybody,
taking, unless they giving me some shit, 50 grams, 100 grams, I'm not taking nothing less than that, you know what I'm saying? So I come out, do what I was telling you about. He gave me what I asked for, and from there, it was up. I just started selling my shit, and I'm doing my own thing, gaining my own customers, you know. I'm working off the phone. I got a work phone and a regular phone, so I'm working off the phone. You know, that was my life for some years. And that whole time I was doing that, selling crack and all that, I was getting locked up for stupid shit like smoking weed, because back then weed was still illegal.
Right.
Smoking weed, violating the cops, cursing them out, stupid shit like that. And I'll get out, probably go through the bookings or whatever the case may be and get out. And after that, I was selling drugs for a while. I ain't never I got locked up one time when I came out, I think, for selling drugs. And I got out October 2010. I got locked up right before Christmas 2010. I thought I was going back because I was on 5 years parole. So I was scared. I ended up, by the grace of God, not getting violated. My PO, my parole officer didn't violate me. I went to court, and surprisingly and shockingly, they let me cop out to a violation and let me out right there. I stood on the boat. There's a jail by Hunts Point called the Boat. I stood there for like 9 days. My next court day, I went home, and I was shot. And from there, I went right back. I went right to the projects, right down the block from the courthouse, Melrose and Cortland Ave, because that's where I used to chill at and get money over there too. And I got released with nothing. They took my coat, everything. So I had to run from the courthouse straight to the projects, and I went to my man's crib and got a hoodie and a baseball jacket. And I was back to right there. As soon as I got out, as soon as I left his building, I went right to the strip on Cortland, started selling crack right there. Got some work from him, so started selling crack right there. And yeah, I was doing it for a while. I was making money. I ain't gonna lie, I was making money. I was doing other shit here and there, but I was making money doing that. Plus what I was doing, I was making some money. and I ain't have to report to nobody, give nobody nothing back. Everything was more my profit. So I learned the game even more. I learned how to bag up, how to weigh, how to cook up. I learned how to do all that, you know what I'm saying? And I just, started doing my own thing. And I was just making money. I was working at one point too and still making money at the same time. I was doing construction. And where I was working at was literally right down the block from my projects. It was a new building that was going up. I was working there, so after work, I would go right up the block, start selling crack. Yeah. And,
so you had a job and you were selling.
Yep.
So how much time passes? How long does it go on for? Like, how long do you go on without going to prison again and, like, staying out of trouble while you're selling crack and have the job?
Like I said, I was getting locked up for bullshit. Like,
right, but you don't serve time.
Yeah, I don't serve no time. I finished parole. I did 5 years parole. I did 2 violations, matter of fact, in between all of that. I got locked.
But they never violated you, right? Like, they never, like, shipped you.
Yeah, nah, I did. One of them, I went to some shit called Edgecombe in Washington Heights. Is a correctional facility in Washington. It's like a drug program, 45 days. I did that, came out, and I did another violation. I went to Willard. I don't know if you know what Willard is, like the military. It's like shock,
like a
boot camp. Yeah, you gotta have shiny boots, heels and toes, creases in your clothes, and all type. You wake up at 5 in the morning, stupid shit. I was in there for like 4 months. But in between that, right, I got set up by fucking NYPD detectives, bro, and they really tried to take my life away. In January of 2011, mind you, I just came home October 2010. January 2011, they raided my crib where I was living at with my sister, my mom's crib, but it turned into our crib. And then I wasn't home that day, that night. They was looking for me for whatever. I'm trying to think, like, what could it be? Could it be for old robbery or whatever, this, that, and third? But then I'm like, I just came home. Like, I ain't do shit. Like, you know what I'm saying? And I'm on parole. I'm not trying to go back. Like, you know what I mean? So they leave their card. I call my sister. I call them. And they tell me, come here, we can't tell you about over the phone, whatever. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go to them because I ain't do shit. I know I ain't do shit. Right. So I wish I knew that detective name too, because I wanted to look him up. I want to look him up and find out, like, if he has ever done something like that before, because that was fucked up what they did to me, man. And basically, they locked my ass up for another robbery again, 2011, January. And I really didn't do this. Like, I was nowhere there, near the scene, nowhere. And the ironic, crazy thing about it is that I had a co-defendant that I didn't even know. I never seen this dude a day in my life. I was 21 when this happened. This dude was 31. Never seen him. And they said me and him did it together. I'm in the precinct.
Sounds like the feds.
I'm in the precinct, right? And I'm tied to the handcuffed to the fucking desk. And he finally comes in there after 8 hours, 6 hours, and tells me, you know what you're being charged with? Slams a paper down on the desk. I'm like, no. He like, armed robbery in the first degree. I'm like, what? I'm like, yo, my man, I just did 3 years for that. You think I'm gonna come home and do that again? Are you stupid? I'm on 5 years parole too. I don't wanna go back. I ain't do this shit. Whole time I'm in the room, I hear somebody in the other room cursing them out. Like, I ain't do no robbery. I'm a grown-ass man. I was home with my 3-year-old daughter. You could ask her where her father was at. And I was there with, me and him was there for the same shit. And they said we robbed some nigga. And so we go to court. Remand automatically. They send me back. I go fucking Rikers Island. Did I go to Rikers Island or to the boat? One of them shits. I think the boat actually stood there for like 2 weeks. My wife bailed me out, thank God. And I fought that case for like 2.5 years, going to court from the street. But in between that, I got one of the violations, which was the Willard. So when I was out on bail, I got violated and went back up north to the Willard program.
The 45-day program?
No, that one was 97 days. Edgecombe was 45 days. So I go to Willard, and when you leave Willard, your time stops. So I left Willard, my time stopped. Everybody that I went there with at first graduated already. When I got back, it was a whole new group. Shit happened to me twice. So I told them in court, listen, I'm in a drug program on a parole violation, and every time I come down, my time stops. Can y'all push this court date back until I finish the drug program? So I finish the drug program, go back down to Rikers to the 4 building, sit there for another 2 weeks, and then I bail out again. And then now I'm fighting a case on the street. And one day, 2.5 years later, dismissed out of nowhere. So I just thank God, but I was facing like 15 years. My first offer was 8 years. 8 years and 5 years parole. And I had just had my daughter, my oldest daughter, you feel me? So it's like, my daughter was probably like 3 months. Took her to court with me and all that. The judge was like, oh, you think that means something? I'm like, pfft.
That's wild.
So thank God I ended up beating that shit.
Did maybe the combination of having kids and going through that, did you start thinking about living a different life?
Hell no, bro. I was still out there, bro, because that was all I knew. Like, you know what I'm saying? I ain't never had no job. All I knew was fast money, either robbing or selling something.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And the selling part was selling drugs. So after all of that bullshit,
so you complete your 5 years parole?
yeah, I finished in 2015,
Okay.
October 2015. I was happy, free man, thank God. And bullshit lockups, like I said, arguing with the police,
Right.
smoking somewhere in the building, shit like that. And like I said, I was chilling. I ain't get locked up no more ever again for drugs or nothing like that. You know what I mean? And that was until 2018, March 1st, 2018. Niggas raided my crib. They had us under a secret indictment, drug conspiracy.
Good old feds. The good old feds. You can depend on them, boy.
March 1st, 2018, 6 o'clock, 5:30 in the morning, they raid my crib. Locked me up. When I come outside, I'm handcuffed. I see nothing but DEA jackets, HSI, all type of fucking federal shit. And I'm thinking it's over. I'm going to the feds, right? I don't know what's going on. They don't tell me nothing. They just say, we got a warrant for your arrest. Get up. Get dressed. Take me in the van. I'm thinking we going to the local precincts. One of them, which is only probably like 5 minutes from my crib, literally, probably 4 minutes. And once I seen we get on the highway, I'm like, where the fuck we going? Like, normally when you get on the highway, you're going downtown to the feds.
Right.
We didn't go to the feds. We went to the 49th precinct in the Bronx. So when we walk up when we get close to it and we get out the van, I'm like, yo, why this place looks so familiar? I never been there, but I seen it so many times. Then it clicked to me. This the place where everybody that get indicted comes to, and it be on the news. You know how to be like 15 people indicted for gun shootings, and they all chained up walking out. That's the precinct that I be seeing on the news.
Courthouse.
Yeah, it's not even a courthouse. It's just a regular precinct. There's no feds, no nothing. Regular NYPD. So when I get in there, I'm half asleep, still tired, don't know what's going on. So I got my head down, handcuffed. As soon as I walk in there, all I hear is clapping. Yeah, got him. I'm like, the fuck? You got fucking police that used to dress plain clothes, that used to harass us in my projects and shit, hop out on us, be violent, search us for no reason, violating us. They went missing for a whole year. And everybody was like, yo, people were saying it though, yo, an indictment coming. People kept saying it, an indictment coming, the indictment coming. And niggas didn't believe it until it really happened.
Whenever you see the local police pull up, like lay off, and you don't see them and they don't harass you anymore, that's
so it's like, when I get to the back to the holding cells, I see a female in the first cell, and I'm like, is that a fiend, like a crackhead, in my mind? But as I got closer and I looked, it was a chick from my block that used to sell crack. And I'm like, oh, shit. And then I get to the next cell. I walk past the next cell. It's my right-hand man at the time. He like, yo, bro, you already know what this is, an indictment. I'm like, what? Just threw my head back like. And then my other man, Poe, He like, yo, they got you too, bro. He like, nah, bro, you be working it up. I'm like, yeah, bro, they got me. Then they put me in a cell. The next cell they had the fucking some dope head nigga. And then my right-hand man tell me like, yo, they got the Spanish niggas on the other side. I'm like, what? Now, mind you, my hood is kind of segregated between the Spanish niggas and the black niggas. Niggas fuck with each other, but niggas do their own thing, you know what I'm saying? I never did no type of business with not near one of them, you know what I mean? Ever. Never took work from them, never, it was always a what up and kept moving type shit, like, you know what I'm saying? So my man was dealing with the Spanish niggas, and I had my own shit, always had my own shit, once I got, you know, to doing my own thing. And he was like, yo, they on the other side too, So we end up getting locked up for that shit, bro, go back to Rikers Island, and this time right here, bro, it was just like, bro, I can't do this no more.
Finally.
Even though I had everything, you know, I had every commissary, I had the store, I had the bud, I had tobacco, I had phone call, I had everything that anybody could want in jail. But it didn't compare to just being free, like, you know what I'm saying? It was like So
it was the amount of time you spent free on the street that kind of made you, once you got locked up again, and that's what made you be like, all right, man, I don't want to do this anymore.
Yeah, not only that, I started really looking at my life like, is this what I really want for the rest of my life? I got a daughter now, you know, I got a, you know, wife and all that, my wife, my daughter. I don't want no other man raising my daughter, like, you know what I'm saying? And that was like one of the top biggest things. Like, you know, I feel like my father he was there, but he wasn't there the way, you know, you see on TV, mom, dad in the household, you know, raising the family, you know, doing what they need to do, struggling or not. And I just didn't want that for my daughter, you know, and definitely didn't want another man raising her, you know what I'm saying? So I just told myself, like, after this, man, it's done, man. Like, I'd rather be homeless and a bum on the street than be in this jail or in prison for years or my life, like, you know what I'm saying? And I just said, fuck that, bro. After that indictment, I was able to get up out of that. We all was able to get up out of it. Thankfully, it wasn't the feds. So if it was the feds, I wouldn't be here right now. You know,
you definitely wouldn't, trust me.
We was facing up to 9 years in the state with that. But we all ended up coming out and beating that. Not really beating it, because we had to cop out to, like, programs and shit like that. And it was a bullshit case from the beginning. They had, I think they said they had 36 buys, meaning we sold to the undercover 36 times. But it was dimes. That's $360. That ain't nothing. Once it come back from the lab, because you know they send it to the lab. Once it come back from the lab, that's not even more than 5 grams.
Right.
That's like,
that's nothing.
Yeah, that's like 3 grams right there. Once it come back from the lab, that's 1 gram, most likely, with all the chemicals in it. So there's nothing. There's no case. Like, you know what I'm saying? So thankfully and thank God.
So once you come out of the case, you stop selling drugs?
Yeah,
or I'm assuming you stop selling drugs, like, kind of like as soon as that whole case goes down is when you're like, all right, I'm done, right?
Yeah, it was over after that.
All right. So after you when does the case get dropped? Like, what year?
It was the same year.
2018?
Yeah, it was like June.
Okay.
June, the end of June. Yeah, because I made it home just in time for my daughter's birthday.
And I know you're about to have another daughter, so congratulations.
Yeah, thank you,
That's
man.
a blessing,
thank
brother.
you, yeah. Girl dad, man. Yeah, I need a son. But
God has a sense of humor.
Yeah, definitely do.
They say that means you were up to no good when you were a kid. You
know?
That's
what they say, man. I guess I was. Shit.
Josh, it was great having you on. 2 hours flashed by, like flew crazy. By. This is great. I usually wrap up asking the same few questions. So, what's next for you is the first question.
Honestly, bro, I'm just trying to. I'm trying to get back on my YouTube shit. You know what I'm saying?
Put your story out there.
Yeah, well, it's out there already. I got a whole channel. Hell On Rikers Island.
It's a badass name. I love it.
Yeah, thank you. You know, I just be trying to help the youth out now. You know, just try to give them, you know, the real deal. Because when I was growing up, you hear about it, but it's not people really talking about it. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, jail is not the place to be, bro. It's really not. Like, it's so much going on out here in this world that anybody could be doing that jail and prison is not it, and it's dangerous in there. Like, it's danger. You can lose your life in there.
Nothing.
You know what I'm saying?
Over nothing.
You can lose your life in there faster than you can lose your life out here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? Over nothing, like you said. Little shit, words, pettiness.
Stupid shit. Yeah.
So, you know, I'm just trying to take it one day at a time, man. Trying to get back on my YouTube shit, like I said, to, you know, do more collabs with more people, you know, just connect and just meet new people, man, you know?
I love that, man.
And just take care of my family, you know, the best way I could, the legal way, you know, because
100%.
I got, you know, I got a family now. I can't be just going back to jail, leaving
Things
them
change,
out here. Yeah,
100%,
man. And
100%.
niggas get older too, so, you know?
How do you want to be remembered?
Honestly, I just want to be remembered as someone that, you know, been through the struggle, came out on top, and just, you know, a man of his word, taking care of his family. That's all I care about nowadays, you know? I don't really care about nothing else, man. Just my family and just being a man of my word and staying true to myself, like, you know?
I could dig that 100%, brother. I feel the same. Do you believe in redemption?
Yeah, for some people, not everybody. You know, for some people, it depends on your personal situation, you know?
Right.
For me, it's like, you know,
Do you believe you've redeemed yourself?
yeah, hell yeah.
I like that, man.
I'm scared to do certain things that I would do back then now, like, you know, like, even if it's not nothing crazy, like, you know, it's just a thought of going through the process of being locked up, handcuffed, precinct,
100%,
bookings, 3 days in the bookings with crackheads, bums, and, you know what I'm saying, smells, foul odors. That's just not it for me no more. Like, you know, I'm getting older, and I don't want that to be my life no more. Like, you know, it's not the place to be, like I said.
Brother, this has been awesome. This is the longest podcast I've ever done. Your story is great. You have so much to tell.
That's crazy.
If you ever need any help with anything as far as, you know, YouTube or anything, I'm here to help in whatever way I can.
Appreciate it.
And I appreciate you coming today. This was great.
Thank you, bro. Appreciate you for having me, man.
How can people tell people how they can connect with you? Instagram,
so y'all can connect with me. I ain't really on Instagram like that, but you can find me on TikTok, Hell On Rikers, and you can also find me on YouTube at Hell On Rikers Island. Sit your kids down and make them watch it. I could save their life, I promise you. That's how I'm going to end this.
That's powerful.
Word.
All righty, guys. Another episode of Honor Among Thieves podcast. Host, Nelson Rodriguez Jr., special guest, Josh, Hell On Rikers. Push it to the limit. The world is yours. If you're not chasing a dream, life is meaningless, guys. Catch you on the next one. Say goodnight to the bad guy.
Appreciate you, bro.
That was fire, man.
So say goodnight to the bad guy.
You looking at the bad guy. This the last time that you ever see a bad guy like me. You don't have the guts to be who you wanna be.